Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM21 Career Mode. This is episode 124, and we are ready to begin our Grand Tour schedule. First off, of course, is the Giro d'Italia, and I'm throwing caution to the wind. We are all in for this Giro to finish as high as we possibly can. Now, the sponsor objective is to win. That feels unrealistic in the current climate. That is a bloated database with super talented riders up and down, and our highest rated rider, who should be a contender, Karaman, just really isn't as good in any way, shape, or form of the other top contenders. Now, is he good enough to finish top 10? Absolutely. Could he get a top 5? Maybe. Podium feels like a bit of a stretch. Maybe he can do enough to get podium, but I just don't see him as a contender to win. But if we can, we're going to get that podium. We're going to get that top 5. We are going all in for this race. I'm going to take a different approach to the Tour de France that is absolutely beyond our reach. A lot of how we do here at the Giro is going to depend on which riders show up and what the profile looks like, which honestly I haven't even looked at it. I have no idea what the profile is like. First thing I noticed though is we have 3 individual time trials for this Giro, including a short prologue-esque just under 10k Budapest race. So we are in Hungary to start this one. I don't know what year this would be, but let me know in the comments below what year this is mimicking. We have a 32k time trial on stage 14, and stage 21 finishes with a time trial to Milan in with 16 kilometers to finish that one out. So the old school Giro that finishes with a time trial, and 3 in all is quite the number. It's not uncommon to see 2, but it is uncommon to see 3 time trials. Meanwhile, 10 flat stages, 5 punchy, 6 mountain. Let's take a look at what the profile of these stages is like. You can see you have a slight uphill finish to this one, so we're going to have to judge that one carefully with our early riders to see what kind of energy is left to resume or to finish this one off. Normally about an 86 or 85 effort through most of this would be what to expect. Flat stages on 2 and 3 leads into a punchy finish on stage 4, 3.5 kilometer climb at just 5.5%. That'll be the first splits in the field, but not major ones. Stage 5, our first mountain stage, up Mount Etna, 17k, 7% average gradient. It does ease off near the top, but then it resumes that climb, and that is going to be a pretty decisive day. That's going to really start to split the field up on just stage 5. 6, punchy, but it's really just navigating a climb and surviving it. 7, not the mountaintop finish. You do finish on the descent sometime later, but a 21 kilometer 6% climb is going to lead to pretty small groupings. You're going to get a little bit on the descent of coming back together, but if navigated properly, could lead to a big day. That's the kind of day we'll look out for, as we tend to do well with those descent finishes. A little nervous about that flat section just before the finish though. 8 is flat, 9 is flat, 10 is punchy with 4 hilltops shortly before the finish on a 208k stage. 11 flat, 12 flat-ish, but there's some undulation along the way that's going to see the groups thin out. 13 is flat, but 2 climbs just before the end. 14 is our lengthy time trial with a couple climbs along the way. It's definitely not flat. 15, big climbing stage, Piancavallo, 7%, 15k climb. We do have some decisive stages, don't we? 16, punchy-ish. It is uphill right at the finish again, last 500 meters or so. 17, Campiglio, the Madonna, 6% average, 12 kilometers plus a lengthy section of false flat, plus a climb there with a rather short descent. I mean, that's not that long of a descent. You're not going to get a lot of recovery in, and a lot of that recovery is going to be gone by the time you even begin the climb. That could be a pretty decisive day. 18, first Alscat that we see, Stelvio, is the climb. And then you have a lengthy descent, but a bit of a false flat, and a climb that follows that up towards the finish. Another 8K, plenty of decisive climbs, even though there's not that many mountain stages. 19 is flat. 20, not sure I'd call this a mountain stage. I think I'd call this more of a punchy stage, but being that it is stage 20, by that point the exhaustion is going to set in, and ultimately it should come down to the climbers. And the final climb is 11K at 6%, so I suppose that is enough to make it a mountain stage. And finally, the flat time trial through Milan. Okay, so all 8 riders have an objective for this. All 8 are going to be approaching a fitness peak, but they're going to be at varying levels of progress towards that. None of them open the race with a fitness peak. So the expected across the board should be a +1. Looking at Gonzalez Albiol, he's at 98% fitness. He is closing in on that fitness peak, should have it in less than a week, and he was fully at minimum. He has picked up a little bit of fatigue, but at just 15% right now through the training and the build-up. You would think Gonzalez Albiol should be in good shape, and for the last week and a half to 2 weeks of this tour, he'll be on fitness peak. Isakov, given time off, quite a bit of time off, and had 0 recovery. We gave him 3 weeks off from his last race, and yet his fitness has not improved at all. He had an objective in that window before we canceled it, but it didn't cancel, and so he continued to train hard even though he wasn't racing. So this is worrying. Isakov's going to be a real problem for this race at its potential that maybe I should be replacing. He is already above the 50% mark. I mean, he's already slightly tired on day 1 of this race, and he is nowhere near his fitness peak. We might want to remove Isakov and bring somebody else instead. We're going to very much miss that 77 mountain, but if he's already fatigued and only going to get worse, there's a real shot that he is going to have -2s, -3s every single day of the race. Karaman had some building fitness, nearly ended up in the Tour de Romandie, but I withdrew him and all the other members of this race here. We took care of the fitness, so he's in great shape now, just starting to rebuild the fatigue. The fitness did drop, but he's already back above 90%, so he should be fine in the early stages here of this race. The big worrying thing, though, is his fitness peak is completely non-existent. He's only just started riding again, and so he's starting from scratch on that fitness peak instead of picking up where it should be, as he had the Etsulia Basque Country as an objective. I really should have gone in and managed this a lot sooner than I did. We at least have no fatigue, so he should be fine as the race goes on. And with 92% fitness, that's going to build. That's not going to be a problem, but I don't think Karaman is going to get a fitness peak within this race. Martin Guerrero, his fitness level, his fatigue was at nothing, at 0. He reset, and he's already had a bit of time to rebuild his fitness up to 94% now. For some odd reason, his fitness peak is not happening either, even though he's had plenty of warning to get on with the program and begin building for that fitness peak, and yet he hasn't. Yet he's had that window, right? He's had a month and a half since his last objective, and he's only just started building the fitness peak. That's disappointing. That is disappointing that has gone that way. He's already at 20% fatigue from building for it, but not the fitness peak. He should be close to it. So he's not going to hit it till late, if at all. Petrov, more well prepared at this point. Fatigue at 20% by the end of this race, may top 50. Fitness is high. Definitely no fatigue now, but the last stage or two could be an issue. He'll definitely have his fitness peak for the last couple of weeks, though. Kyakovchi, Domestique, he's ready to go. He's in good shape. Fitness is where it needs to be. Fitness peak will hit late, final week, and we've got his fatigue down to nothing, so perfect on that one. He is ready to go. Ryabovis, no fatigue, but fitness peak also not where it should be, as he had the Etsulia Basque Country as well as an objective, and so he's just rebounding from that one. The funny thing was he had a single day of that fitness peak, and he crashed out on that day in the last episode. I never ended up benefiting from that at all. That was really unfortunate. Finally, our pure domestique is Sifsy, our guy to lead the flat, just in case we do find ourselves in a leadership position. And we had him reset. We had him in great shape. But he's been building for this early. He's close to that fitness peak. He's going to be ready before the end of week 1. He should begin that fitness peak. He's at 99%. He's great, but he is going to very much be fatigued the final week, as he has gone from no fatigue just a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, to 30% in just a few weeks of training. Ouch on that part. Really ouch. So I replaced Isakov with Narbutas as Martin Guerrero sets off here. I did that because of that fatigue factor. It looked like Isakov was going to have himself a terrible race as a result. So where we're at on this one is somewhere between an 86 and 87, and you can maybe, depending on the individual rider, get away with an 88 late on. So Martin Guerrero, you start off with an 87, you back off to an 86 once you kind of get up to speed to conserve for a little while, and then you keep pushing. You can see how good his time is right now as he's gaining on the guy in front of him. And I think we can get away with an 88 there for a little bit. We get a little push, and now we attack for the line, and we are 19th, 22 seconds down with Martin Guerrero. Martin Guerrero is good, but not great. Ryabovis had a fantastic run, though, in 8th place. He had pretty good race day condition. So Ryabovis is looking good. Martin Guerrero's looking good. In the mix, times are definitely getting spread out here, but right now it's Mikhail Bjorg, Suderland, Bettiol. None of those guys are contenders. McNulty could be a contender, but he's it so far. The real contenders obviously are going to come in that final grouping, and where they are is going to be the one that you want to watch out for in terms of how things are going to be. Gonzalez Albiol, -1, but actually with the fitness level, he's pretty good today. But poor prologuer, which means he's really not going to do very good at this one, as it's more prologue than time trial, though it is a blend. But you can see that little push, that 87 puts him well behind. He burnt through that red bar really fast. So to get this at a suitable point where we can get back up to an 87, we're going to have to go quite a bit longer on the 86 than we did with some of these other guys. But now we can push that 87 here towards the finish. I don't think we'll be able to get up to the 88. No, it looks like maybe not. Right towards the end, we make a little push. 43 seconds down for Gonzalez Albiol, already ruling himself out of contention. But as a non-punchy guy without good stamina resistance and a weak time trial, Gonzalez Albiol is never going to be the leader. In fact, he's got a lower average than quite a few guys. He just has that 78 mountain. It really helps him be around. But he, with the current team, went from... Well, he was our number 3 behind Karaman and then Berlikov, just ahead of Martin Guerrero, I think, for a while there. But then he's really slipped down that order. I mean, he obviously became number 2 once you lose Berlikov. He was number 2 momentarily. Martin Guerrero overtook him to become the number 2. Petrov, joining the team, has overtaken him. I think other guys, Isakov, 77 mountain is right there, but Ryabovis, more balanced. Guys that just bring more. Gonzalez Albiol has gone from one of the protected riders, who's still a support rider, but definitely one of your top support riders, to very much on the back end and not much of a factor anymore. He's playing that domestique role a lot. Well, Karaman anyway, already out here. He's down to 4K. He's got excellent condition. 82 on the time trial, 82 on the prologue, so that's balanced. 82 on the mountain, that's balanced. He's also got 79s on the stamina resistance. I tried to roll that up a little while ago to the 87, and it didn't roll. But let's see how much time he can make up here on the climb. Well timed, and that is 7th place, 14 seconds down. That is our top time. Not enough to win. I mean, we're not fantastic time trialers or anything. Remember, there's, even with an 82, there's still 85 time trialists out there. It is what it is. William Bloom-Levy has taken the early lead on this one, a Danish 1-2 with Bjerg behind him. Adam Yates, there's one of your contenders in 3rd place. Gegenhardt, contender in 7th. Karaman, the next highest contender. And then Almeida might be a contender for kind of quick step. McNulty hangs on to 10th place for EF Education. The only relevant thing to look at here following stage 1 is that Adam Yates was 11 seconds behind. Those top 2 guys are non-factors. Adam Yates is where the first contender is, and we are 4 seconds off the race lead at this point, seemingly in a podium position on same time as Gegenhardt for second, third. And we've pushed forward to stage number 4, and we are setting up our sprint train for the finish on this one. It's a punchy stage. It's a short stage. It's a really short stage here. Kikochi is out front, but Ineos is blocking us off at the moment. But Kikochi will have to go a little bit deeper when the time comes, once he gets out from behind this Ineos block move that they are still, like, even on the left-handers, they're still blocking us. Let's get out here. Get into the open. There you go. See how they tried to come back to the left? Okay, that opens us up. 6K to go. We're going to go 99 from here with a guy who's got a really good flat rating, which means we're going to be pushing really, really deep. Let's start gelling up multiple guys here. 5K.
Only 5 kilometers left.
Gel up. And finally gel up. Okay, Sifsy doing all the work right now. And as we go to hit the climb, he is done. We're going to put him right onto the back to hang on and start with Kyokochi. And we're going to keep going at a 99. It's only 4K. And you would imagine this is going to do damage not only to us, but to everyone. And we want to just hold ourselves out front as long as we can because we have the full team. The further down the line you are, the more protection you have. And we're down to 2K. But at this point, nobody is coming up on us. I mean, look. 2K to go. Sifsy, 2.1K to go. And no one has come up beside us. So, continuing on. Narbutas, 1.9K. Keep on pushing. Kyokovchi, meanwhile. Let's start getting guys behind this thing and try to break that toe. Here they come now, though. 1.5K. Narbutas is nearly done, so we'll be on to Martin Guerrero in a moment. 1.3K. These guys are probably sprinting by now. Yeah, here goes Gegenhardt and Yates. 1K to go. That's close enough to get into a Petrov. It's close enough to get into a Ryabovis sprint. Let's get Gonzalez Albiol going. And Karaman, unfortunately, just ran out of space. Too many guys coming through. Can he find room to get through? He does, but he's not going to get a top 3. Red Bar is actually going before the top anyway. Adam Yates takes the stage ahead of Pogacar, Hagita, Foss, Gegenhardt, Warburton. Karaman grabs 7th on the stage. Not great acceleration. Good condition today, but just, you know, not the kind of acceleration or hill rating, even with the 81. That's almost enough, but without the acceleration, he was a little slow to kind of take off. Made up some good ground, but not quite good enough to get top 3 to get a bonus, but does not lose time. That's the main thing here. Right? Did not expect this. First off, Adam Yates gets a 4-second time, additional 4-second bonus as he had separation. But we also have a gap between Phillipson and Matthews, 25 seconds lost. So McNulty losing time. Those leaders that were there, surprisingly losing some time. So that's going to help thin the field out just a little bit. And now we're looking at an Adam Yates lead. Pogacar into second. Gegenhardt is third. We are on same time, just off the podium. And even though we considered ourselves a virtual podium before, now we are sort of just off it with Pogacar moving himself up the order a bit. Almeida, Hagita, Foss are now those contenders that remain near the top. Bernal also here. Latour is here. Not a ton of contenders, but the contenders are already right near the front, and we are only right in the middle of that. How good is Adam Yates? 81 mountain, 80 hill, 75 time trial. We'll get opportunities to get ahead of him, but these punchy stages are difficult. 80 hill, 78 acceleration, 78 resistance, 77 stamina, good flat rating, bad recovery for the 34-year-old climber. So if we're lucky, he'll struggle on the time trials, and he will struggle in the final week. If that's the case, he will fall off and we'll have a real shot at beating him. With an 81 mountain, we can match that at least, though we don't match the stamina resistance or bonuses that he gets. He won't be easy to beat. Pogacar, 28. Amazingly, though, not perfect. 82 mountain, 81 hills, good time trial and prologue, good acceleration, good stamina resistance, and good recovery. There's your favorite to win the race, but not perfect, just really good. Gegenhardt, just a step below Pogacar. Almeida, right about where Gegenhardt is. Higuita is definitely another step below that. And Foss, I'd put him right there with Gegenhardt and Almeida. Bernal, meanwhile, has that 85 mount. We're going to have a difficult time just cracking the top 5 in this race, as there are, I'd say, 2 heavy favorites in Pogacar and Bernal. And then you're looking at Gegenhardt, Almeida, Foss, and then Karaman as kind of the next grouping. 3 through 6. Adam Yates probably 7th best out there. McNulty, not that great. Higuita probably there with Adam Yates in that next tier. I'd say 8 pretty dang solid contenders. Then 7 it should be on the edge of the top 10. I think before we get things too firmly planted in how the race is looking, let's go ahead and take that as a little bit of a cliffhanger ending. I could probably squeeze this one into the episode, but let's not try to push tempo. We want to take our time on the climbs, as they're going to be really important for Karaman, who's going to struggle to keep up with a Bernal, who's going to run away with it. Pogacar, who is going to be really tough to keep up with as well. I think, honestly, we should be ultimately letting those 2 go early on and just fighting for that 3rd podium step, because we're going to have our hands full just with that. I mean, we've got the 3 other contenders in our window, the 2 guys that are almost right there with us too. So, that's a good 5 guys we're going to be competing with head to head just to get 3rd. Those top 2 might be a little out of reach. Of course, it's early days yet. They could have issues. They might not have good form. They might not have an objective for this. But you don't go to a Grand Tour generally as a stage racer without some sort of intention of doing something. So let's hope that we get a good race day condition bonus for Karaman here on this first mountain stage. He's going to need that. He's going to need that little bit of help. Our first fitness peak is Gonzales Albiol, and that's still a few days away. So maybe a couple more days away. So we don't have any bonuses there to help out. No strong support riders at the moment. Obviously not the weak ones either, but no strengths. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.